What's up, everybody? Welcome to TPI, the Total Podcast Idiots Show, where we cover everything and anything related to Hardwood, the best online college basketball simulator ever created. Really, the best game ever created. I'm idiot number one, Andrew, and here we have our guest hosts, idiot number three, I guess,
Yeah,
Chris.
I guess I'm maybe temporary idiot, but yeah, Chris.
Welcome, Chris. Welcome. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think 2-0 today. Still no recruits. I guess one of my teams got two recruits in one day a few days ago, so I can't complain too much, right?
Yeah, right. I've been a no recruit guy for a couple days. It kills me every day to log into Cal State Fullerton and see us get beat. But today was a rare 3-0 day for me. We
Wow,
had
nice.
Cal State Fullerton won, Syracuse won, and UCA, who doesn't do a whole lot of winning, they won too. It's a good day to record this for sure.
All right, yeah, for sure. And obviously Rob isn't here right now. He's just so busy.
Mhm.
But I mean he's doing good. We didn't record on Thursday, partially cut, I guess mostly because we were watching the NFL draft together. So sorry we couldn't put out an episode then, but we'll be doing that soon, hopefully. Um, what else? I
We'll do a
think
separate Trey Lance deep dive, I think,
yeah.
later this week, right? We'll
Oh
just do
yeah.
a just on the Niners number 3 pick. I know we can do that in the off topic section of the Discord too, but that'll be fun.
Yeah, I was happy with that. I'm a
Oh
Niners
yeah.
fan.
Yep, same here.
So oh nice. Yeah. So I mean, Trey Lance, I was happy. I was really worried about the Mac Jones rumors.
I was at a bar and I live they might not know this, but I live in Arkansas. And so it was really surprising, I think, to a lot of people at the bar whenever I was just really blatantly cheering for Mac Jones not to get drafted. I think, I was it was anybody but Mac Jones was kind of the vibe. And I'm sure he's
Yeah.
a nice guy, but mortgaging your future for Mac Jones does not sound like something I want to be a part of.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, I was very scared, especially with that trade up
Mm-hmm.
before the draft. Yeah. Um, let's see. What can we report on Rob's teams? I think Oswego won by a bunch today, but Dominican beat Santa Clara by like 25. So sorry about that, fellow podcast hosts.
Hopefully he sees the game before listening to the podcast so he doesn't have to feel bad about it.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we were talking on Twitter, and I think he knows the result, but I'm not sure.
Good.
Yeah, so today, normally on these weekend days, we're talking about just the top teams in RPI and maybe TPI and everything. But today we actually went through all these conferences and looked for the hot teams, right? And I think that's really well, it's new for us, really.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really done that. It's hard for me to like look at that column and be like, oh, that team's, you know, really on a hot streak. Because I mean, there's so many other games to evaluate by, and honestly, these things change by like literally tomorrow.
Yep,
So
100%. But the good news is, in a lot of these cases, because the conference season's so young, the hot teams are the top teams for a lot of them. So it won't be too out of the ordinary for us to think.
that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're on a 6-7 game winning streak, I mean, you're automatically 6-2, 7-1. You're probably in promotion contention at least, right?
If you're not, then I do not want to be in your conference because that sounds horrible.
Yeah, that I don't know how that would even be possible.
Yeah, that'd be definitely pretty tough.
Yeah, I guess it's possible, but that'd be highly unlikely, I guess.
We'll see a couple really close top 3, 4 races though as we go through some of these, I think.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So yeah, anything else? Just a quick recruiting news. I think the biggest news today was that the Czech Republic player, the 4-star, the first 4-star Czech player committed to Gettysburg, as they rightfully should.
Absolutely. Robert Novak, a bit of a trailblazer, definitely the Czech players never go to Gettysburg. Am I right? So I think he's maybe the first or maybe the 50th. I don't know, something like that. But I mean, really good stats right now: 16 and 3 points per game, 12 rebounds. I think he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, maybe the 50th, but potentially the best.
Yeah,
Potentially the
true,
best.
true. Congratulations, Divock. I know that was a big one for you. So
Yeah, I'm really happy for Divac, and yeah, there's obviously been other recruiting news, 5 stars committing all over. So I think Cough Daddy, I know he's scaling back a lot of the coverage because of some some stuff going on, but go check his thread out in terms of the recruiting thread for the 5 stars. And it still has a lot in there, but I know it hasn't been updated because he went on a little vacation. So but I think he'll update it soon. So yeah, that's recruiting stuff. Yeah, should we just get talking about these teams?
Yeah, I think we should dive into to Legends and let's see what's up.
All right, so here are these top teams by RPI. So you said Legends.
Yeah,
here we go. Here
makes sense to start there, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the best teams historically and all that.
Yeah, nobody's gonna watch for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I mean, Mississippi, we talk about them a lot, but we always say we talk about them a lot, and eventually we probably will just keep saying that, and then it's like, oh, we haven't talked about them in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you can see this crazy number.
He's a monster.
199, my goodness, 20 IQ. He might be the smartest player in Hardwood, on top of the best.
Yeah, I looked at that earlier today. The number 1 player in Hardwood is is not an underclassman, but as a junior, which is really impressive. And I mean, he's just gonna keep getting better. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see what he is when he actually leaves Ole Miss. I want to see what his SI is going into the league.
I mean, it's got to approach the 210s, I think.
I would think, yeah,
right?
210, 215, something like that might be a little high, but I mean, he's got great growth already this year. He's putting up nice numbers. He's doing a little more all around stuff. He didn't have to score as much, it looks like, which is nice. And Ole Miss is still playing really well.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably been more efficient now, right? You can see that 1.3 points per possession, 66 effective field goal percentage.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, crazy numbers. Better defense.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's like playing a different position right now because he's
plus 18.4 on the season too.
Oh wow.
The guy's just efficient.
Yeah, seriously. But he still has good growth rate because it's update number 6 and he's improved by 7 points, which is still a good rate. Obviously it's going to slow down. How can he not slow down after these numbers? But yeah, I mean, what can you say?
I think it's crazy to look at the amount of 20s this guy's going to leave with when you look at his skills potentially and that outside shooting range, maybe strength, maybe perimeter defense. I mean, I think I haven't been around as long as you guys have, but I mean, he might be the best prospect I've seen or one of the best prospects I've seen in Hardwood. He's just a monster.
Quite possibly. Yeah. And it's not like it's all about Jeff White, of course. I mean, obviously that's the main guy, but Cunningham and Starks, we talked about Laterza a while ago in that like Elite 8 preview, and he's still here. And yeah, I guess he's the best big on this team. And then Slater or Eubanks, I imagine. I mean, that's a big talent gap, but here's the size advantage that Eubanks holds.
The good news with Eubanks, you've got that 7'7" wingspan, 260. I mean, that's a big guy. The backcourt's obviously loaded, but if Ole Miss is going to go far in the tournament this year, I think they probably have to hope they get a little more depth from these guys and don't get exploited as much.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, they're really relying on Eubanks and Lane for that big man depth, I guess. Yeah, and then I guess Marte and Dobbs got to be important on the wings, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm actually looking at Lane. Lane plays 4 minutes a game, which is less than I mean, I guess he does have Slater as well. It looks like Slater and Eubanks split time pretty evenly, but it's not a bad rotation to have. I mean, I would definitely take it right now anytime you can get that type of size.
Yeah, hey, I mean, Frank Lane, you should transfer to, I don't know, UCA or something, huh?
Yeah, I think I don't know how much money it would take to make that happen, but I don't think they have.
So. Right. Yeah, so I mean, Mississippi, they're top ranked in RPI. They're probably, are they number 1 like in the polls right now? I imagine
so. Yeah,
because they're top ranked in division and LL1 in the standings. On point differential though, my God, it's over 700 RPI. Goodness gracious.
It's incredible. It's also, I mean, just looking at that race there, I mean, it is is close. And obviously it's not really a race yet. We'll probably use that term when we get later in the season, but man, 4 teams, 6-2, just separating by point differential. Although they're almost 50 points better point differential wise. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, that is pretty significant. We talked about Tarleton State in Evansville these past couple weeks. So we don't have to go too in depth on the rosters, but they're hot too. All 3 of these teams are 8-2 in their last 10. Obviously, you can see the win streaks. No one's really built a ton of momentum yet. The team that's built the most momentum right now is Kansas State, right?
100%. And I think that's who we wanted to talk about as well. I know they've looked pretty good, and I think they're also top 5 team, number 5 team in the country. You expect to see a bunch of rankings and legends, but to have 1, 4, and 5 is pretty impressive this early in the season. But they've had a couple pretty big games the last couple of weeks, right?
Hold on. Kansas State, they're 21st in RPI, just ahead of me right there, but let's look at their schedule. You mentioned, I remember that they beat Tarleton State, right? And they also beat Mississippi a few days ago as well.
Yep. I think they seem to be playing pretty hot these last couple of weeks. After a loss to Lincoln at home, which you might not expect, although I know Lincoln is a good team. But they've Legends is just brutal. Just looking at the schedule and seeing so many numbers next to names.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know how they do it. So.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it's just so scary when you see all these hashtags, and I guess one of them is because of Kansas State. So obviously they're all going to be there, but like it's insane. You're right. Let's take a little bit of a look at Kansas State, because I've never really looked at them that closely, I don't think. You see all these 5 stars and 4 stars all over this roster.
They recruit very well. It looks like they're doing some balancing with the 2 stars, but even the 2-star guys, a guy like Phil Thomas, 2-star reaching 136 isn't bad at all.
Yeah, right. Wow. They're not, their size looks like kind of underdeveloped, I guess.
Yeah,
is what I would say. But
their backcourt is great.
Yeah.
That's what's the. McNair looks pretty good. What's his weight though? How big is McNair weight?
Let's see. 215. Not the biggest.
Not the biggest. Yeah.
But he's well-rounded. He's like really well-rounded. Surprisingly, just a 4 in interior scoring.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Yeah, but
only averaging 10.1 points per game though, so I don't think he's there to do that whenever you got those talented scorers, at the guard position.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, because this Pharaoh Harden kid, he's a better offensive player inside at least, but not as good defensively, right? So I don't know I haven't really looked at the lineup, because maybe McNair is at small forward. He's at power forward, so I don't know.
Well, the one thing I'll say is, the Kansas State has been here for a little bit, and I know that they seem to know what they're doing whenever it comes to this rotations. Whatever they're doing, whether it's figuring out how to use these kind of defensive specialists, or maybe use some of the guys who don't excel in that position as well, they're doing a good job, because they're getting some really impressive wins. Yeah,
and I know Alan Chevy's one of the most experienced presidents, both here and on Broken Bat as well. So they know what they're doing, I feel like. With the
guy is good at sim games. That's what he's supposed to do. So.
Yeah. That's Legends. Right now it looks like a 4-team race. Ursinus, obviously all of these teams really are within striking distance still. There's so much of the season to play.
100%.
But sometimes the tiers start to form by now, I'd say.
Unlucky for Tennessee to be plus 23 differential and be 3-5. Just that kind of stuck out to me looking at that. I know that that TPS has been in the Discord a little bit, talking about some of these close games just aren't going his way, so he might be winning games big, and then it's just the close ones just start going for him right now. But he obviously had an impressive showing last season in the tournament. Maybe we see him turn it around a little bit here in a bit.
Yeah, I know that they've dealt with a lot of injuries, and then you see that they played a lot more away games than home games actually too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting to look at as we go through some of these races, where you see the teams that might only have played 8 games at home all year so far, something like that.
Yeah, you can see they've only played 1 game at home in conference actually, versus 7 on the road. Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, that'll turn around for them hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something to pay attention to. I think everyone kind of thinks, and probably there is the case, like there probably is, it is true that like home teams have the advantage in Hardwood.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if it's been proven really, but
It feels that way.
yeah.
I would definitely say that's the
Yeah.
consensus, at least talking with some other people. But we obviously all have those games at home where you might lose to a team where you're just thinking, what the heck, and then blow out a team on the road the next game. So
Yeah,
Hardwood's weird, you know.
for sure. And then we actually want to talk about Butler here, right? A little
Hmm.
bit. And obviously they're not hot. Well, I mean, they kind of are with a 2-game winning
They
streak,
kind of
but
are.
more so, it seems like Butler is finally feeling the effects of being a bot president for so long,
Yeah. I think what's
for
interesting to
Nobody
me,
Jones for leaving.
yeah, and obviously that was going to be a big impact, and whoever takes over Butler here in a couple seasons will have a really uh, huge prestigious program, but a really interesting time turning this around because they've recruited some all right JUCO guys. I think last year they took what, like 3 or 4 JUCO guys. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you look at the roster, 2 guys over 150 SI is just, that's surprising to see for Legends, especially for a team like Butler. I
Hmm.
mean, obviously, Jimenez is, he's a monster, especially for a 3-pot. Or I'm sorry, not 3-pot, a 3-star with the 12-pot.
3-star.
He looks really good.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can see there, when you look at their backcourt, I don't know what that looks like compared to a lot of these teams they're going up against. You know, I think that might be where they're getting hurt.
Not as good,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, definitely not if they're 3 and 5.
But yeah, yeah, it's just it's tough to see, I guess. I mean, um, it's interesting because I just went to my team. I don't care. Uh,
You do care.
um, yeah, Nobody Jones left, a few seasons ago, and he's taking UPR Rio Pedros, like kind of Piedras, sorry. They've improved a lot. I was put on their recent like performance and by another team, and it's really interesting to see what they're doing. Yeah, so I mean they're improving. They're definitely not there yet, but they'll definitely get there soon, I think.
I think definitely sooner than later we'll see Nobody Jones back up, in some of these higher divisions. And who knows, maybe whenever he wins a national championship with Rio Piedras, he comes back to Butler and wins another one. Who knows?
Yeah. And we were I think last week I said like, oh, LL1 doesn't look that strong, but like then you look at these RBI rankings, they have 4 in the top 6.
Yeah, I mean it's a strong conference, even whenever it might seem like there might be a couple conferences that might be better than it. It's still really, really good.
Hmm.
Which you'd expect. I mean, I think a lot of these players are probably some of the most experienced players in the game, and guys who really know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean a bunch of them were these original presidents who were like beta testers.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean it's man, to have been playing at the game at that time, that would have been fun.
Oh yeah. I think it would have been really interesting to see where we are now, but
Let's
it's
move on to
still fun.
2.1 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 2.1. So, I mean, the thing that stands out, of course, is that Loyola is undefeated, and they're actually the only undefeated team in Division 1. Wow.
Yeah, I think I mean, honestly, the team just looks really good. And there's some definite competition in 2.1. I don't know if they've played those guys yet. I'll have to look at their schedule. But they
Let's
look
take a look.
really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, some other things stood out definitely just looking at that. I mean, so they have not played Iona yet, right? They
Yeah.
play them in a couple days. Oh, and they play Richmond next. And Richmond was that third place team, right?
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good game. Richmond actually has a really nice point differential, I know, in conference right now. And it looks like, is that game
Iona's
at
actually
Richmond?
it is at Loyola in Chicago.
Okay.
But actually both Iona and Richmond have better point differentials in conference overall than
Mhm.
Loyola. So that's crazy.
But anytime we talk about hot teams and you see that W18 and streak, we got to talk about them.
Yeah.
Obviously, Loyola Chicago is a really good team, but it will be interesting to see what this looks like next week when we go through the conferences and kind of talk about it.
Yeah. Well, and so here's the other thing. Loyola's played 15 away games and just 3 home games.
That's okay. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I've seen some lopsided schedules with some, 7 or 8 home games, but 3 home games. Oh my gosh.
It's been a bit more even in conference though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so this is all like non-con. That's pretty
Every
crazy.
non-con game out of conference. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Is that really all of them?
I think
Must
so,
have.
right?
Yeah, must
Yeah,
have. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
that's
Phew.
wild.
Yeah. So I mean, I, I don't even know what to say. I mean, that's where the RPI is built. Definitely, still a strong, like a pretty good strength of schedule, right?
It looks like it. Not as good as Iona, but one thing I'm noticing looking at Loyola's schedule here, it does look like they've had a couple close games. Like
Hmm.
Yale, bottom of the conference, win by
Hmm.
9 in the road. I mean, obviously you win on the road, it's always a good thing, but uh, you see a lot more of those blowouts in those non-con games, and that might be where we're seeing that big difference in point differential versus Iona and Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, just a 5 point win against MIT,
hmm
um, a 2 point win over Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, although Florida Gulf
Um,
Coast is one of those teams, we could be talking about as well. They've been pretty hot, I
yeah,
think, too,
that's true.
recently.
Yeah, with a 3 game winning streak. Yeah, I mean
hmm
MIT though also in demotion zone. And I mean Florida State, they're 4-4. I mean they have a strong RPI, good strength of schedule. I don't know, maybe they've just been inconsistent, perhaps.
hmm
But yeah, wow. I mean, it's just impressive to be undefeated still at
100%.
this
I
high
mean,
of a level.
yeah, we saw that. I mean, we were impressed enough with LSU, I think, in LL4 last year.
Hmm.
So for them to be doing it here, we'll see if it stands up in these next couple of games. But I mean, you got to hand it to them. It's really a good accomplishment.
Right, for sure, for sure. Anything else with this conference?
Um, I don't think I had anything else that stuck out here. It really did center around Loyola, although the big thing I noted was just that we're going to see these teams, the top 3 teams, play in the next, at least play Loyola here in the next couple games, and I think that might give us a much different outlook whenever we see those performances.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, Iona definitely looks strong. Richmond, we know, is strong.
hmm
Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that breaks down in just a few days. Yeah.
Yeah, Iona scoring over 100 points a game in conference. It's pretty good. The other ones are getting it done with defense, but I mean, they're definitely scoring some points.
Yeah, that's interesting. Their points allowed is almost as high as the points for
I
Chicago.
saw that. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup. See who can kind of force the other team to do what they do well. I mean, that's how those games are always won. So
Yeah, that's always interesting. I know my teams are gonna Dominican's gonna face that kind of thing when we face, I think, probably Crookston, I guess, and whenever we face them. I don't know. Yeah, we can talk about that when we get to that conference though.
yeah, we'll talk about Dominican a little, I think.
And all right, so 2.2 though. You want to talk about, I guess, Florida State, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida State stuck out a little bit to me. Obviously they're not on the same winning track that and I'm gonna have a hard time saying this name.
Don't worry about
Misericordia. I
it.
don't know. That's gonna get roasted, but um
Miser Recordia, I think, or Misera,
Misericordia.
one of those two. Yeah.
Misericordia. Either way, I'm gonna call them Cordia for this, just for the
Sure.
sake of it.
Yeah.
I think with Florida State, I was interested in some of their recent games. Let me pull them up and look at it.
Sure.
But I had noted uh, that they're undefeated at home, which is something I kind of like to see. I know in Hardwood, it might not be the biggest thing, but we did talk about. It seems like there is some sort of home court advantage.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, I'm getting these pulled up real quick. But they're only 1 game behind. Obviously, it's early. They do have a much more of a differential compared to Indiana State, but uh, Misericordia is just killing it in that way with 18.5 per game.
Yeah, with that point differential. Yeah.
hmm But you do see a little bit tougher strength of schedule from Florida State. Florida State's played some good teams. Obviously, there's been some history of Florida State having some impressive performances throughout the years. That's a team that I have my eye on, kind of seeing like, what do we get from them as the season continues on.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously Misericordia also pretty hot.
hmm
We talked about them a little bit. So yeah, I mean, that's about it really. I mean, these teams at 7-3, like in the past 10, I mean, they can consider themselves playing really well, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I was really looking at these three up here. Yeah, Wake Forest has a case to be made, I think, too.
Yeah, and you can never count out Huntington as well. I know, obviously, they have an owner who really knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so this conference has a lot of really good teams. I mean, you even see some they're down in the demotion level, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Really tough strength of schedules around the whole conference, and they've definitely played some good teams.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, let's move on. I do it this way, and so we're in 3.4 now instead of 3.1, and it just looks like these top three teams are kind of like running away with it in different ways. I mean, like Miami has the point differential advantage, but like they're the weakest in RPI and strength of schedule by like a lot, right?
Yeah, it's considerable. That's what it's kind of surprising to see the under 500 strength of schedule. The RPI it's a little closer, but St. Thomas Aquinas with the 6.21 and Crown with the 6.18. I think that's going to be one of those things where we see Miami undefeated at home and they look really good. They've got a good differential, but how do they stack up compared to those better teams in the conference?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly who Miami's faced. Let's take a look, I guess.
Yeah, I want to say I looked at it earlier and I don't think they've played either of those teams.
No, they have not. Yeah, you're right. They do play them in the coming next two out of the next 3 days.
Yeah. So that'll be one that we can, as we come back next week, really take a look at. Although I did think one thing that stuck out to me about this conference was that, actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong notes. I'll just completely disregard it.
Okay, no worries. But like Crown, we mentioned that they have a stronger PI and a decent strength of schedule, but like their point differentials not looking too great. I mean, it's even below Muhlenberg's down here, who's in fourth. It's even below Pacific's, who is in seventh. I mean, that's skipping over quite a lot of teams. But yeah, it's like I'm not sure what's happening there. I mean, they certainly don't look like they play that, but they don't score that much. And maybe a little good. They have good defense, but it's not. It's just hasn't been enough lately. I mean, enough to win, obviously, but not enough to like blow people out.
Yeah, and that, I mean, we've seen it before. Point differential is really important, whether it comes to promotion, things like that. That can always be a nail in your coffin. And I think while they, are playing well so far this season, you look at their schedule and see some of these close wins. 3-point win on the road against Xavier, things like that. It makes me wonder that they're a team with 10 scholarships right now. They don't have the full 13, so it makes me wonder if, as the season wears on, they pick up some injuries, something like that. That depth might really be tested.
Yeah, I mean, so I just looked at their home and away splits, and like they played a lot of road games, especially in conference. So I think it's another case of where we're going to see maybe this start to flip a little bit more in Crown's favor, I guess.
Yeah, so I think you'd expect it over the next 10 to see that number go up a lot more whenever they have these home games.
Yeah,
just the way Hardwood seems to work.
I guess it's probably just like good that they're getting wins really on the road.
Hey, that's all that matters, right? You got to get those wins.
Yeah, I mean, if you're out pacing everybody by wins, it don't matter what the point differential is.
Hey, winning ugly still counts as a W in the columns. It's okay.
That's right. All right, so then 3.3. Again, you can see these three teams up here looking like, I mean, they're definitely the hottest. Whether it's by win streak or last 10. I mean, Villanova has a case to be made, I guess, but like Villanova's RPI is much worse.
Yeah, I think, and you don't want to count them out. I mean, obviously it's early in the season, but when you look at Tufts, North Greenville, Clark, all three teams have a differential in conference over 15 per game, over 100 overall. That's just really impressive stuff. And then you have the top two teams in the conference on a 7 and 6 game win streak, respectively.
Yeah.
They're putting out some really good performances.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't talked about Tufts before, so I wanted to highlight them a little bit. And so President Dynamo here, the Tufts Jumbos, which is a great name, right?
Phenomenal mascot.
Yeah. And I remember we were talking about this roster just a little bit beforehand. I mean, this guy Juan Lara is crazy good.
Oh yeah. Legitimate size too.
Legitimate size, 6'8.5", 230. That wingspan over 7 feet. The rebounding, the interior defense, the strength is really good. Inside, outside shots. And the kid is good. He's hurt right now, unfortunately.
But you like to see the stamina on a guy like that too, where bigs are huge in Hardwood. We've seen that before, and I think that you want to be able to kind of ride that guy as you get late into the season, and having good stamina, good speed combo, while also just being a monster inside. It's going to be really big for them.
And I mean, he can even flourish in a fast-paced offense.
Yep.
Like, wow. And I mean, back in the day, Dominican put in a few points on Juan Lara, hoping we were hoping, but Tufts came in and just, I mean, I couldn't compete with Tufts,
He wanted to be a
back
jumbo,
then.
right? He's
He
a
did,
jumbo guy, wanted to be a jumbo.
yeah, he didn't want to be a penguin, I guess. But he also has this redshirt sophomore, the Greek Nikolaos Floros, who looks really good. And, Kenner here at 6'10", a good defender, definitely.
They can throw out
Strong
some
too.
size at you, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
even you look at a guy like Casey Barclay, 6'7" small forward. You
Hmm.
put out a guy like that who can shoot as well. I mean, that's huge. He might not be the best defensive player, but just having those long arms, you would assume that at least makes somewhat of a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, this team is full of guys who I was like, oh, they look so interesting. Like Elmer Salerno, I remember being like, oh man, he looks really interesting, even as a 10 pot. Jake McKay, I was looking at for a little bit, and those guys are more developmental guys. But man, I guess me and this president have two similar tastes, especially in terms of big men.
I was gonna say, looking at this guy's roster, Dynamo definitely seems to recruit some players similar to the philosophy you ascribe to, and obviously it's worked out for both of you guys so far. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I wish they'd stop though.
let a couple of them be Penguins, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, I mean, North Greenville, we talked about being like really interesting because their TPI, their SIs don't look that high, but obviously they're performing really well. They're playing really well. So I don't know what tactics L Martins does, but man, he's got some type of magic touch here.
Yeah, I think he's winning games, and I know we talked about that. You want to win games by a lot of points, but he's on a good win streak right now. His roster looks, they've got some nice depth. You don't see a whole lot of drop off outside of the walk-ons or the freshmen. But
Right.
I'm interested to see how this race kind of heats up as it gets a little further down.
Yeah, for sure. And then just real quick on Clark. I don't know. I haven't talked about them in a while. I know we did a few seasons ago, and they've got a 181 4-star 12 pot, small forward 6'7". We mentioned that being a good size, and this kid can shoot. 1860. Wow, and he's fast. Not a great defender, I guess, but
Not only that, they do have, if we're talking just about size, they've got Seth Mims inside. A guy who's 6'10", 260.
Mhm.
Not the best defender ever, like we mentioned with the other, but he can rebound a little bit and he's just strong as hell.
Yeah,
I
right.
think he's a really interesting prospect. Looks like he can score quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And Christopher too, I guess, is probably the power forward. Just a nice combo inside mostly. Yeah, fast even. Yeah. This is a efficient team because like you see the top five, or they fill each of the five positions. And a 6'5" point guard. Oh,
I know that's always nice to see.
yeah,
He's going to be a matchup nightmare as we get to tournament time.
But yeah, so Clark, wow, that's scary. But let's move on to 3.2. This is the conference you are in.
Yes. As you can see, we're doing a great job. We got a win today over defeated North Dakota. Although there's no slander at North Dakota. Obviously, the game's got to go one way or another. But yeah, there's some good teams in this one. I actually wanted to point out, I know I see South Florida and Cal State LA here at the top. Cal State LA, kudos to them. Big turnaround from last year where I think they avoided demotion by one spot.
Oh, yeah.
Took a couple games there from other teams. But UT Arlington was one that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit. I think a couple days ago, they might have been a 6-7 in the country, something like that. They had a little bit of an unpredictable loss to Cal Poly at home. But when I look at these rosters and I look at the teams, UT Arlington's the one that stands out to me as these guys. You don't count them out this early. I know obviously it's still early in the season, but I think they've got the horses to get this done and maybe win the conference.
Yeah, I know. I think I talked about them a bit last week. Yeah, Connolly Hawk. Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, Connolly's a monster.
Yeah, wow, 190 looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they've got some serious depth. The one area that you might you might question a little bit, some of their big men down there. But even then, they've got size. They can play some defense. It's not the best. You've got a guy like Charlie Armstrong who's starting games at 6 rebounding and 11 interior defense, but it
Yeah.
seems to be working for him. I mean, they've beaten some good teams this year. I'm just interested to see how that lineup holds up as we get out, because they do have a lot of talented perimeter guys.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, deep team, but yeah, the height maybe, the size
Yeah.
maybe not quite there. But yeah, they make it work, right?
Yeah, nobody over 6'10", which it's not to say that you can't win games that way. But that's something that as they get to some of these matchups, other teams, it might really hurt them.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to talk about Cal State LA a little bit, mainly because they're also on Brian Hoffmeister, who I am on. So I just would like if they would stop. That's basically it. I mean, no, but Cal State LA is having a good year.
Oh yeah.
They're solid. I remember taking a look at their team. I know Wyatt McIntyre is a beast down low for them, the 18 IS. Again, I mean, obviously being in California, I'm going to recognize almost all these guys and be like, I almost put points on them, or, but yeah, I mean, Jacob Stewart is a really good player here. Yeah, Greg Gilliland, right? I mean, I don't know the exact breakdown of their roster. You probably are more familiar with their lineup and their stats, but
yeah, the one thing that sticks out to me about Cal State LA, obviously, besides their, they've recruited really well this season. I think they've got most of their class wrapped up.
They got three recruits on one day.
Yeah, I mean, that's just got to feel so good. I feel like you just log out of Hardwood and you're just like, today's gonna be good day. But when you look at their defense, that's the one thing that I question with this team the most. When you pull up the defense, I don't think interiorly they don't have any guys above 12.
They have a 13.
That's right.
But
13.
Yeah.
Perimeter, they have none above 12. So I think that's
Correct,
when you look at those guys and you think, okay, kind of similar to the question we have with UT Arlington, where UT Arlington might have the size. Cal State LA has size. I mean, they've got a lot of size, but is that size translating to defense? Who really knows? We need to know how much wingspan might affect that or things like that in Hardwood, but they don't really have the defensive ratings there.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, to me, it looks like their defense is okay for the most part, especially inside, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, that's overall conference wise. Yeah, they're pretty good. That's interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously they have a good team. So, I don't know what they're doing exactly to make up for these, because these are a bit low on ratings.
Yeah,
like you said,
but they're doing something.
Yeah, wingspan can help, size. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
One thing that sticks out for Cal State LA as well is they had a really impressive win on the road against South Florida, I think a couple days ago, a 1-point win, which you love to see. Maybe a buzzer beater, we'd have to go in and look, but they beat the number 1 team in the conference, and so really all that's separating them, I think, is that point differential. This is going to be a close one. This is going to be a close race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, South Florida has a sizable advantage in point differential, but it's still so early. It's not really that sizable.
Yeah. And I think, interestingly enough, too, I don't want to spend too much time on the conference. I know we've talked about it quite a bit, but St. Leo actually is a really talented team too. Who, when you look at the breakdown of their roster, I mean, they've got 4 or 5 teams in this conference, I think, that could legitimately compete for the title, for the conference title. Not, we're not talking anything else down the line yet.
Good old St. Leo, my old not nemesis, but conference mate.
Yeah, I bet there are a lot of good battles between you guys.
I mean, they usually beat me. So.
they probably had a couple years, ahead on you, but you'll meet them at some point, I'm sure. Again,
for sure. All right, so shall we move on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do it. And so this conference, I mean, you can see 3 teams at 8-0 in conference, obviously all tied. Obviously, very impressive point differentials. Good. I mean, these RPIs are as close as it gets, really.
Very similar resumes, I feel like, outside of that strength of schedule.
Yeah, that strength of schedule is really just it, right? I mean, that's the big difference, it looks like. I mean, the other big difference, I guess, Amherst is like destroying.
They're blowing teams out.
People in the conference.
I mean, you look at 19.4 for NYU and you go, wow, that's a lot. And then you look at Marist and you're like, are these teams playing the same teams? Because that's a lot of points.
Yeah, and obviously none of them have played each other
Yeah.
yet, so we gotta wait for that to happen. And I don't. Let's see, when does that happen? Do you think Marist?
Marist
It's
plays
got to be
NYU in
soon.
3 days. They
Oh,
also
okay.
play number 25 Bentley
They play
in two
Bentley.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's about to go down.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the theme with a lot of these as we kind of get, close to maybe halfway through the conference season. Um, we're going to start seeing a lot of these races change up. But man, to have 3 teams at 8-0, all with killer point differentials. I mean, these teams are just really good.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, we look at these win streaks. I mean, that's as hot as it gets, really, right?
Yeah, that's probably the most impressive one we've seen so far as far as the number next to that W, 11, 16, and 9. I mean, that looks really good.
Well,
A
I
couple
mean,
10 and O's
this
in
is
there.
this is probably the most impressive group. I mean, we saw a W18 already.
That's true, but the most impressive top 3, I should say.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
I
for
don't want
sure.
to discredit Loyola Chicago. They might beat me by 1,000. So next year.
Yeah, next year, right? They already did. They already did last season.
That's true. Although they let me down in the championship, I don't want to bring that up too much. But
Oh
I
yeah.
did pick them to win, and I think everybody lost for my conference in like the second half. So
That's true. All right, let's go on to LL4.
yep,
So we have Temple here, who I think is like second ranked in RPI. Look at that, 683 RPI. Sheesh.
that's
Wow.
wild. Yeah,
Obviously with Cal, who lost today a close game to Georgetown on the road by 1. But
yeah.
Georgetown's,
Georgetown's a
the
good
fourth
team,
team.
but
Yeah,
but they have Georgetown's one of those weird teams where you look at their point differential and they're like, okay, something's funky when you've got a +5. They're winning games close and they're losing games close. So
yeah.
that's a unlucky one for Cal, who I think has played really well and beaten some teams by pretty good margins.
Mhm.
They're gonna have to get over those games if they're gonna overcome Temple.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, Cal Baptist is definitely like they're pretty hot right now too, actually.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah, they look good. I mean, Shepherd, I don't know. I wouldn't call hot necessarily, but they're in it definitely.
Yeah, there's a couple teams in here that I think could flip this a little. You've got some nice RPIs. I mean, Temple with a 6-4 strength of schedule is pretty darn impressive too. I mean,
Yeah,
they've been
yeah.
beating good teams, but I think we get a matchup between these two sooner than later, right?
Between who, Temple and Cal?
Temple and Cal. Yeah, I think we see that here in a couple games.
Let's see. Actually, I don't know. Oops.
Yeah, looks like they play in Berkeley this
Oh, well,
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that'll be a good one. That'll be one that you kind of measure up those top teams, and obviously we're not going to discount some of the other guys, but that'll be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Looking forward to that. Look, when we check on them next week. All right. So let's see. Moving on to 4.2, and this is my home. One of my homes, at least.
It's got to feel good seeing that Dominican University of California at the top, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does. But then this Crookston is just they're right on my butt.
Yeah, Rhode Island and Crookston, both pesky teams. Although I will say, I looked at these teams and I did think if I had to think of the two that are really going to compete for this, I thought of Dominican and Crookston. But Rhode
Yeah.
Island's, they've got an impressive record right now, and I mean, you got to win the games. So
Rhode Island, like, I just played them kind of recently, and I won, luckily. But like, this team is talented at the top. They're very top heavy. You can see what their top 7 are all 155 or higher, but then like this huge drop off
yeah, I could be wrong. I think
to
with Rhode
their 8th
Island,
best player.
I think with Rhode Island they had a president change
Yeah, yeah,
relatively recently, like within the last season. So there might have been a case of somebody not recruiting as much or something like that. I don't want to speculate too much there, but the roster at the top is really nice.
yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, this president AZ signed up on March 18th and last logged in a couple weeks ago, even.
Yeah.
So they were active for a month and then kind of fell off. So
Hopefully they come back. We want less bots,
yeah,
definitely in
yeah,
Hardwood, especially with good programs like Rhode Island.
yeah, yeah. So they have a 7-1 center. This is who I was really scared of. I was also scared of their point guard Gallagher.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, this guy Pennington, he comes off the bench for them, and I was like, wait, what? Why?
Really? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Swisher can shoot. Like that's a crazy good shooter. And then Blackman, he's like a small. He starts a small forward, but then he like moves to power forward and then plays some point guard and center.
That perimeter
He's a
defense on
crazy guy.
Blackman is just chef's kiss. It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And then, I went over Kirsten last week a lot. So, but obviously they're really good. I think there's a matchup between Kirsten and Dominicans because they haven't played yet. Soon
Yeah, it
on
looks like in a
Thursday.
couple of days. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready.
Oh, I know you're gonna spend so much time in the lab game planning for that one. I
Oh
think
yeah.
hopefully Crookston's ready too, because that's gonna be a really good game for this conference. And I mean, obviously, let's talk about Dominican for a second. I mean, you guys have been just crushing teams, I feel like, for a lot of the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, mostly, we've been getting some pretty big wins, kind of sometimes unexpected. This Jacksonville game was close, and we lost to Loyola Marymount, which was kind of surprising.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, we've had some big surprising wins, especially like this Lipscomb. This Clayton State game was actually super surprising to win by that much. Honestly, like I didn't think that would happen. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good season so far.
It's like always a good season when you have to apologize, obviously tongue in cheek in the Discord about killing somebody's team. When they're like, "Wow, I wish you could have just beat me by 20,"
I mean, I legitimately don't mean to beat people by that much, but to say that like I'm not trying to win and like I do game plan as hard as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I'm not like pushing the pace +5 and pressing 100% like some teams do to weaker teams you know to really boost that margin of victory. Like I haven't done that, so I have no idea why it's happening. I mean,
I think
it's nice to.
what's impressive too, looking at Dominican, obviously, I think the defense has played pretty well this season, but it's pretty
Yeah,
balanced scoring wise. Like, there's not really like a guy on here who's just chucking shots, things like that. I mean, you're scoring all over the place, and I think that's obviously really impressive to see. And it's always a good sign in case somebody goes cold. You've got other guys can kind of pick up around that.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, like Newton is my top scorer by in the overall, but like Clevenger, I think everyone knows is my best like player
Yeah,
actually.
he's the go-to guy with the game on the line.
Yeah, but then like Boone for a while was leading my scoring for a while just because I don't know, he was getting a lot of consistent buckets inside. And then I have a 4-star center in Bruce Spann, who's probably like my most actually talented player.
Yeah, he's going to
Uh
be really good by the time he graduates.
yeah,
I mean, he's really
so
good now, so
yeah,
he's
yeah,
going to be really, really good by the time he graduates.
yeah. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to my matchup against Kirsten for sure.
Yeah, that'll
But
be a
yeah,
good
all
one.
right. Let's move on to my other conference.
Absolutely.
This one where I'm sitting in fourth. I mean, I'm not the story here, luckily, so I don't need
Mm-hmm.
to look embarrassed on camera anymore. It's these two North Carolina teams out here, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know Dayton had a tough loss today that kind of they moved them out of that to, I think, who did they lose to? Marquette today,
Yeah,
which
the
surprised
Marquette,
me,
yeah.
but North Carolina A&T and UNC Asheville are both playing really well this season. Obviously, North Carolina A&T is winning games by almost 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Um, but you've got UNC Asheville who are, undefeated at home, which we love to
In
see that.
in Asheville is ranked actually so they just played each other and Asheville took the win by 8 at
Mm-hmm.
home
Yeah.
against A&T. And we can take a look at that 'cause something was weird. So Kreider, obviously, he's the guy for A&T, and he went 1 for 8. He got shut down, and if 5 fouls, 4 turnovers, he got like really shut down.
Yeah, no joke. That's impressive game planning for sure to be able to hold him like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wallace is like a 16. Okay, he's a 14 perimeter defender with 17 speed. I don't want to give away too much, but Kreider, as good as he is, he definitely has some weaknesses that maybe my teams can't exploit, but some other teams I think can.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking at him, I think there's a couple spots. Obviously he's really, really good, but I mean, we saw it today.
Yeah.
It's also interesting to see that North Carolina A&T was playing with such heavy fatigue. That makes you kind of wonder if that, might have had something to do with that final score.
Yeah, probably, right? I mean, that's where it really started to break down a lot more. I mean, they always play with heavy fatigue. Like their minutes, I don't know. I mean, I can just click a random game and
Mm-hmm.
some ton of guys are going to be on heavy fatigue. I mean, just we can pick me. That's not, I guess, random. like here's their fatigue right here.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
that's
mean,
just with
obviously the
24
strategy is winning
minutes a
them
game for
games,
James.
but
Wow. Yeah.
there's ways to exploit that, and I think we might start seeing that with some of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've had a lot of injuries already this year, but like not to any of their top three in terms of scoring. In King was actually a little above for a while. So like four other top five haven't gotten injuries. Obviously, this guy has Duran, their starting power forward,
Mm-hmm.
and then some bench guys too. But yeah, I mean, their starters haven't really gotten hit except for Duran.
Yeah, and
So I'm
I've got
surprised.
it pulled up too right now on Asheville to kind of switch it a little.
Mhm.
They've got some nice talent on that team. I mean,
They do.
this isn't a fluke. They've got, and I know I'll obviously let you speak on this more because you've scouted these guys. But what do you think of their roster?
Super scary. um, like look at that, those perimeter defenses are really strong. They're very fast, good staminas. They can shoot. Obviously, Joyner and Horner, especially. I think Horner is the real big threat on this team. For me, when facing me at least. Um, I remember we played each other like late in the season last season, and Horner had like this long injury. He's like out for 20 days, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah, it's always a
um,
good feeling whenever it's a close race. I feel bad
yeah,
to say it, but we all think the same thing when there's a close race, and you're like, oh man, that's just gonna make this a little easier on me.
yeah. They definitely have some weird rotations. So like Glenn Bond is their starting center,
Yep, was
right?
just looking at him. That's a very strange move.
I mean, I get it with the size because
Right.
he's the biggest and technically most talented big, but he only plays like 15 minutes a game.
Yep. I think that's what he. I mean, that's what he looked like. He played 15 minutes today. That's
Yeah,
average of 16.4. I guess he's
yeah,
just in there for the defense, and he can rebound. I mean, that's definitely you see from him. But that's a
I
interesting
feel
move to
yeah,
to go with him.
he's kind of just in there to like take up some space. I kind of think of it as like I don't know, like provide some beef. That's what I like to call it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he does that. He does that
Little
okay.
bully ball, right? Because you look at their roster, they aren't huge. There's not
No, they're
a
not.
lot of
No,
size. They've got two guys over 6'8" that are on scholarship, I think, right? Or one guy, and it's Glenn Bond.
just Glenn Bond. Yeah,
I
I mean
mean,
Pollard is 6'7.5".
yeah. Is he playing some of the minutes at center here to make up for that?
No, I think Compton is their backup center. Yeah, Pollard hasn't played 1 minute in over a year now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be they obviously they're winning with some really good players, but that's something just not to get too into it, and I'm sure you've looked at this, but interesting area that you might be able to hit them that teams might look to scout against them. So they'll have to prepare for that.
Yeah. So Robert Compton here is their backup, but technically primary center. And Gilmore, I think, gets some minutes too there. But yeah, I mean, there's some weaknesses definitely,
Definitely
but
some strengths though.
definitely some strengths. Yeah. So we'll see how I game plan for them. I forget when I face them. I think it's pretty late. So,
I love these weird
oh no, it's next.
rotations though. Oh yeah, no, it's
It's
real soon.
on Tuesday. Oh no. Well,
Well, yeah, you'll figure it out.
hopefully my good friend Rob can deal some damage to them first for me.
Yeah, we gotta send some good vibes to Oswego. Hopefully they can get dub.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to 4.4. So, I mean, the two teams here, right, are San Diego and Jacksonville State, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Um, yeah. Did you had some thoughts on them? You had some notes.
Yeah. So I actually looked at this conference, and my initial thoughts were, okay, wow, San Diego is just killing teams, right? They've got pretty impressive point differential. But then you look at Jacksonville State, and the roster I think looks pretty good.
Mhm.
It's top heavy. Let's not sugarcoat it, but they have
Right.
some very very talented players. I mean, Caden Skinner is a top what
He's a
10?
top sophomore in the game, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
top sophomore in the game, 15 pot guy. He is a monster. He's gonna continue to be a monster. But they've got 6'6" point guard play. I mean, they've got some decent size. And so I think to myself, okay, I don't know a lot about San Diego's roster. I think Jacksonville State could maybe really push them. And then I looked at their matchup. They played the first conference game back on April 25th,
Wow.
and it was 101-52.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's
No
something
injuries
that,
too.
yeah, no, I mean, that's something that he's going to have to figure out. Jacksonville State, they're going to have to figure out how to match up in that matchup, because you have to beat the top team in the conference, I feel like, if you're going to really challenge.
Yeah. I mean, San Diego, I know they score a lot of points inside. I mean, Thomas Kane and Tad Calhoun, I think, are their like best players essentially. I mean, he's just a 10 pot, but he's big. He's really, really big, and a great rebounder and defender in the IS of 18. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think San Diego has actually found some decent value here in some of the 10 and 11 pot guys that, that's really come to help them out. When you see, Jarvis Pierce, who might be a little smaller,
Mhm.
but obviously Thomas Kane, as you mentioned, it's a pretty well-rounded roster, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. For
They're
sure.
a team that I think that I would say that they're probably the favorite, and that's just based off of the matchup between those two teams. But I'm interested to see how that next one goes whenever they play next time.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be in Florida, I guess. So maybe that switches some things around. I don't know if it's going to be worth 49 points difference, but we'll see.
Hey, hardwood is weird, so that's, you never
That's
know.
true. That's true. Um, and then you want to talk about Colorado a little bit too, right?
Absolutely. I have to give a shout out to Holocron, who I've had some good battles with Cal State Fullerton. But um, let's look at their roster real quick and just take a quick peek at Guillermo Cordero,
Hmm.
who is just a freak. The guy is a
Yeah,
monster. I
yeah,
know
yeah. Wow.
he's made some jokes in the Discord about, the job's a little easier when you get to take over and have a guy like this on your team.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not wrong. I mean, he's a phenomenal prospect. Somebody who I think is really going to help Colorado potentially in their promotion hopes this year. And it'll be interesting to see how the team kind of looks in those seasons after that, if they're able to kind of to right the ship and continue that. But this season, at least, they've got some really talented players on that team.
Yeah, looks like they need to do some recruiting. I mean, they have, I guess. They got two guys right now
Yeah, he'll
signed.
get it turned around, but I know there was it seemed like when you pick up a little late, it's hard to salvage that first class. But I think Holocron will get this one turned around, and he just enjoy these players while you have them, because I would love to have a 15 pot power forward on my team.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's nice while you're rebuilding to have this type of talent
Yeah.
on your team, definitely, for sure,
Yeah,
for
I've
sure.
been in that exact same situation with Cal State Fullerton, taking over a team that had some really talented players,
Yeah.
and it just makes that fall a little easier. You're not just free falling. You're able to stabilize a little bit, and you know that you might drop down. But if he's able to promote with Colorado this year, I mean, that's huge. And
Hmm.
this team, I think, there's definitely some top heavy talent, but they've got a nice rotation.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's move on to the next conference.
Okay.
So this is I mean, I think the three hot teams are just right at the top here. As we said, Delaware, Franklin and Marshall, and St. Joe's here. Um, I mean, you can see the RPIs though are way different.
Mhm.
And I mean, I guess Franklin Marshall has the point differential advantage actually.
But they do have the weaker strength of schedule.
Yeah, they have the weaker strength of schedule. So that's interesting.
So this was
Just
almost
wow.
similar to the San Diego situation, where I was like, okay, Franklin and Marshall's on a 5-game win streak. Very impressive. Anytime you can have one of those, it feels good, especially in conference. And then I looked
Yeah.
at their last loss, and I think it was to Delaware. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean everything, but they
Mhm,
lost at home by 14 to Delaware.
mhm.
And so that makes me think that this is just going to be a little tougher to match up with as the season goes on.
Yeah.
And Delaware might have their number, and they play Delaware at home, or I'm sorry, they play on the road, which is going to be hard for them as well.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it like Franklin Marshall's played 12 home games uh overall, and I guess let's see, it's not a huge advantage at home. I mean, in terms of like the games played, and they played two more games at home than on the road.
Yeah.
Uh, but Delaware is even home and road. St. Joe's has played two more games on, no, sorry, four more games on the road than home though.
Yeah, St. Joe's is an interesting one too. They've got a nice RPI, they've got a nice strength of schedule. That's a team that might actually be able to make some noise in this conference, I think, as it comes down,
Mhm.
down the stretch.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on because we're running long, but that's okay. um, I mean, the team to talk about here is Augsburg,
This
right?
one's obvious. Yeah. No
Yeah.
offense to
I
the
mean,
other teams in here, but
undefeated.
Augsburg, man.
Right. I mean, DePaul and Northwestern look like they're hot. DePaul on a 5-game winning streak, 8-2 in the last 10 for Northwestern. But that kind of pales in comparison when you see 16-game win streak, 10-0 away,
27-point differential.
27-point differential. Yeah. Sheesh. Wow.
Yeah, Augsburg, they've got to feel pretty good about how their forms looked, I think, in these early games.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, let's look at their team a little bit, right? This is a Minnesota team. Um, gosh, I've been playing this game for so long, I recognize a lot of these names. Yeah, I mean, they have size though, 6'11" and a half center and Saucedo, 6'8" and a half power forward Mallory.
And Mallory's nice. You got Jack Cable playing another power forward position here.
Oh
And
yeah,
I mean,
6'7",
they've got some really nice size.
yeah, and then the perimeter defense led by Bishop and Clifford up here, right?
Yeah, I mean this is one of those teams where you look all the way down, like the 1 through 8, 1 through 9, maybe even 1 through 10, and these guys can play some rotation minutes. I feel like everybody who's playing rotation minutes on this team deserves to be, and it looks like they've got a pretty solid roster overall. I think that they just look really good. I mean, anytime you can have those numbers in conference, it speaks for themselves a little bit. So
yeah, I want to see if the McFarlands are like from the same area, maybe, because I always like that.
oh yeah, I
Wesley
definitely
McFarland.
pretend that they're related in my head. So.
Yeah, where's the other room?
Oh no, Arizona and Minnesota.
Oh, that's not even close.
No.
Wait, where is the other? Why can't I see him? I'm completely blind. Oh, he's right here. Yeah, okay. Maybe they're cousins. Maybe they're cousins.
Let's for the sake of it, they're definitely cousins. We'll just say that. Just makes it more fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I wanted to point out Texas Pan Am and I guess Damon too, but both of these teams, like they're playing well lately, definitely. So I don't know. It's still like Augsburg is definitely running away with it, but like for promotion, still some teams in it.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some it's not to say that Augsburg's just going to automatically finish one, but there's definitely going to be an interesting battle for that 1 through 3 spot, I think, in this one.
Right. All right. 2 more here. I mean, I think the real one to look at is Illinois Chicago here, right?
Yep. Yeah, they've got that 4-game win streak. I didn't have a lot on this conference outside of the fact that they play Shenandoah, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be an interesting matchup with the two teams that you might say are the hottest teams in the conference, and see how they match up against each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to because the RPI doesn't like stand out. It's not over 600. The SOS is definitely like not great. And that's the case for all 3 of these teams. I mean, Shenandoah looks like kind of weak, in fact. I mean, Cincinnati might have the best resume out of all these teams.
Yeah, I think you could definitely make that argument. And I mean, they're just right in there too. That's one good win from being in promotion, essentially.
Yeah. So that's interesting. All right, and then the last D1 conference. Yeah, it's a pretty obvious. North Alabama. I talked about them last week some, and they're on a 10-game winning streak now.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the Alabama conference, right? We can call it this one.
Yeah, because it's also UAB here too.
Yeah, exactly.
And West Alabama right here.
Yeah. It's been pretty impressive for North Alabama. North Alabama undefeated at home. You love to see it. Also, that 24-point differential. It's just you're killing teams for the most part, and I think that's what you want to see from the best teams in your conference. Is a nice point differential because it just shows how consistent it is versus the ball going one way or another.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's kind of a good way to not give your opponents hope.
And they played once this season already. Northern Alabama won at home by 7, but they do get that UAB game on the road. If this is close as it comes down, that could be a big one.
Yeah. That should be. All right. Should we go on a D2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just look at the rankings because I don't know, clicking through every conference is going to be tough. Oh wait, I have some conferences already picked out. So
Well, let's take a look at them.
great job in prep by me. So let's start by conference. So I'll start by this way, but like I think Dartmouth and Northeastern State are obviously the top two here. Northeastern State, though, they're 17-1, but their RPI is just ranked 63rd. You can see their TPI is really good, though. So, I mean, their strength of schedule is really weak, though. But they're really hot, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I shouldn't have clicked that one. I should click this one. Like, they're 8-0, so is Dartmouth, but that point differential is far and away 31 points. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, 11-1 away, 12-game winning streak. Yeah, it's the strength of schedule is not good though, and obviously they haven't played each other. Whenever they do, it should be a pretty important.
I was going to say the strength schedule is not great for any of those teams, but I think that we'll just see that matchup, that head-to-head matchup, how that goes. But those teams have some obviously impressive resumes so far, especially 32 points almost Northeastern State.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
Yeah. Oh, I ordered it wrong. I mean, I ordered it by numerical, but then this Hardwood, the sorting capabilities is not always awesome. So D2 5.2, Minnesota State and Fresno State, it's pretty clear those are the top teams. 1-5 in RPI, both 16-2, both 7-1 in conference. And I mean, Bemidji State is here, but Bemidji State is nowhere near good enough in RPI or strength of schedule or point differential.
I think that's going to definitely change as a couple more of these weeks come on. But credit to Bemidji State, they've looked good so far. But this definitely seems like a 2-horse race.
Yeah. I mean, like really similar resumes, both 10-0 home.
Yep.
Fresno State has the point differential, but like Minnesota State has the RPI, the strength of schedule. I talked about Minnesota State before. I haven't looked at Fresno State so much. I'm sure I'm going to recognize a ton of these players as well. Freddie Hobbs,
Lucius Erb, Bruce Erb's brother.
Bruce Erb's brother, Lucius Erb here. Yeah. Actually, I don't recognize a lot of these guys.
Tad Berger, phenomenal name though.
Yeah, Tad Berger.
And Paul Abercrombie. Those are some good names.
That is a real
Sounds like a jock from like an 80s movie.
Absolutely. Wow, he has 2 players over 170. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's really, really good for LL5.
Where did these guys come from?
I don't know. I need to see Paul Abercrombie. We got to take a look.
Yeah, seriously. Illinois. Okay.
He recruits all over. Well, I wonder if some of these guys are JUCO guys.
Yeah, maybe, right? You got to think so.
Or he might just have a good eye, an eye for talent.
Yeah, I mean, 85. He started out in 85, so maybe just picked up a guy who just came in. I mean, he's a defensive specialist. His shooting is like not great, but like he can finish at the rim. Yeah. He scores 19 points a game.
Yeah, his shooting's not great, but he scores 19 points a game.
And he shoots 56% from the field. Okay, I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, I don't. Just questioning all sorts of stuff right now.
Oh, okay. He plays 38 minutes a game.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting strategy. We'll see how that kind of goes throughout the season.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, McMillan here is probably also 35 minutes a game.
Okay, so really heavy minute usage for 3 of his seasons actually. So he plays these guys quite a bit, but it's getting results. And I mean, maybe that's just because the talent disparity is so huge in that conference, but it seems to be working.
I mean, it makes sense with Abercrombie because he's a 17 in stamina.
Yeah,
13 is not bad, but like 10 speed is kind of low. Let's see how much Tad Berger plays, because if he's playing over
35.
Like 35.
Come on, let's see.
27.
Okay, there you go. That's better management. And the guys below Tad Berger, I didn't see their names, but they do have some decent stamina as well. So he can run these guys some minutes, and it seems like he wants to.
For sure. So okay, I guess I won't kill him then.
Well, he's killing people right now. That's an impressive team.
Oh yeah, come play Dominican.
Hey, they might give him a couple seasons, man. If they keep finding those gyms, they might be up there.
Hey, yeah, it's true. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? V3. I'm not going to go through every conference. So these are
Yeah.
just the ones that I picked out. Don't worry, everyone.
Pretty close race though.
Yeah, V3. Yeah, this one's pretty close. I mean, the top four, are pretty close. And then I think like UC Colorado Springs is hot though.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, relatively for
No, I
five,
mean that's
yeah.
hot. You've got the two, obviously the two eight win streaks, but
Yeah.
they're not that far off. I mean, that just takes a couple games.
Mhm.
That's definitely losable and definitely winnable for them. So we'll see how
And
that
like the
one plays
RBIs
out.
are pretty good here too for D2, like above 550 for four of these teams, including Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
And
this
like,
seems like one of the
yeah,
stronger or at least deeper conferences.
yeah, definitely. So this is going to be an interesting race. I mean, 30 points a game for Point Loma Nazarene. Whoa.
Good gosh.
I know President Pointer, he's really active, or I don't know. They're really active, and they've recruited really well. I see them on a bunch of like juniors and sophomores now, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of annoyed at some of it.
I think this is planning for the future, I think, right now, because he knows with the way his season's going, if he keeps it up, he's going to be up there in LL4 and really be able to start throwing some of the recruiting weight around.
I mean, yeah, it's planning for the future, but they're playing really well right now. So it's
That's
like,
true. Yeah, they're
yeah.
doing a good job. I think they're going to be one on the West Coast to watch
You-
out for, similar to Fresno State.
I mean, you can see how much they prioritize size.
Yeah, there's some big
Um,
players.
I know Naylor was not Pointer's player, but I think everyone else has been recruited by this current president, and they got some big people on their
Oh
team.
yeah. Well, that's how you win in Hardwood, right? That's what we've seen a lot of it. Size wins in this game.
I think that's one of the main ways to do it. Yeah. So I mean, they're taking advantage, definitely. All right. What's next? V4. I mean, V4. Oregon's at the top there. Here, I'll pull them up real quick.
Tennessee State, actually. Yeah, Tennessee State, RPI wise
Oh,
at least. But yeah,
oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, RPI wise, Tennessee State. I mean, Tennessee State record wise, I guess
right
I
there.
didn't think they were hot because of this one game winning streak. 8-2 is good. 600 is really good. I think that was 10th in D2 for RPI. Yeah, they have the record definitely. So Oregon and Tennessee State both playing really well, but the rest of the conference is like not good.
No, it's not great. And I actually realized I was wrong. I thought Syracuse won today. They lost today to Tennessee State in overtime.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh,
I was thinking of the wrong game. So that would have been a good one for them. But honestly, as long as we stay up, I'm pretty happy.
yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot. When I was just saying this conference isn't that good, I didn't
They
see
are not good. No,
Syracuse.
you're not wrong. That's a paper tiger resume, I think, for us. So 13-5, but there's not the wins haven't been great. But I'm interested to see Oregon. I know Oregon was a team that a little while ago, I think, had a president change, and so they seem
Yeah.
to be doing pretty well right now. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how that runs down with Tennessee State as we get
Yeah,
into
this
the
president's been logging in. So
yeah.
all right, we
Love
love
to
to
see
see
it.
that. Nice. Okay, so then V5, I think the only team here was Wisconsin River Falls, and they have the second best RPI,
Mhm.
16-2. I'm sure they're very hot. Or no, I mean they lost.
Oh no,
They lost today, so maybe not. But they're 9-1, in their past 10. So
they were
um,
very hot. Yeah, they were
yeah,
very hot. But
yeah.
that's that they lost pretty good to Illinois
Illinois
Institute of
Institute.
Technology. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow, that's a big
way
big
more than you would
loss.
think. Yeah.
Oh, this okay. This team was the one that gave Rochelle some trouble past couple of years because they're funky. They got demoted. Um, I mean, you can see Wisconsin River Falls does not have a good TPI.
Yeah, they're winning games. That's strange
Yeah,
because usually it feels like a lot of these teams, especially in D2, I know we've seen that in some seasons where it does seem like the TPI really rises up. But to be number 2 in RPI and not have that impressive of TPIs, that's something.
yeah. All right. So then I swear I won't go through every conference. I know it seems like it. The top three here, Biola, Brockport, and Irvine look like they're the teams here. I mean, Montana State, up there, Bot, Chattanooga. Yeah, I mean, Sanford is playing well lately with that away record of 4-5, although they're 9-0 home. So it's like,
Yeah.
they're a hot and cold team.
What's interesting is when you look at the RPI, at least that's how I've got it filtered down here. You've got UCI at 9, Sanford at 17, Biola
Yeah.
35, and then all the way down Brockhurst at 82. So
Mm.
that obviously doesn't mean everything when you look at the conference standings, but I think this is gonna be one of those close races we talked about earlier.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay, we are going to skip a conference. We're skipping V7. Sorry, V7. But V8
Ooh,
again is
yeah.
real interesting. I mean, because these top 5 teams, even sixth place who's a bot, all at 8-2 in their last 10 or better. And all really close. One game, all these teams just outscoring opponents by 100 on or almost 15 a game, right? I guess
this
UC
is
San Diego not quite as much, but yeah.
this is an interesting one. It's pretty close. Wisconsin, Oshkosh,
Mhm.
26.1 points per game point differential. I'm interested to see how this one plays out. I know a lot of the the D1 races are pretty interesting, or the LO 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But this seems like an interesting one to me.
Yeah. I mean, UC San Diego, like they have the worst point differential, but like they have the best RPI.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. All right. V9, it's the top 3 here that are hot at least. I mean, I guess Elizabeth State City State is on a 4-game winning streak, but I don't know, 6-4. And their RPI, I guess Southern Virginia's RPI is not good at all either. But I don't know. It's hard to discount the top team, especially when they're on a 4-game winning streak with 9-1. They're past 10. But like College of Charleston, Baylor, we talked about.
Yeah,
They
Baylor we've
look
talked
like
about a while,
really
I feel
good.
like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just won a national championship in real
True.
life,
Very
right?
true. Yeah, very true.
That gets you
Although
some favor in
Apollo,
this.
looking at Apollo,
Yeah.
I've never mind. I thought it said that he logged in on he signed up on March 2nd and he logged in today, but I thought it said he signed in March 2nd and logged in last March 2nd. So I was very no, he's been doing a
Yeah.
good job.
For a couple months now, yeah. All right. We're gonna skip V10
Okay.
and go to V11. And so for this matchup, I mean, Rice on a 14-game winning streak is
Yeah.
the real one.
Blowing
But like,
teams out.
look at this home and away split. Like, they played a lot of games at home.
Yeah, that's that might contribute to that 26.8 point differential, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
still doing it. It looks good. What's crazy is their point differential is actually better in conference than it is overall.
Yeah, wow.
Might have been some tough out of conference games or something.
Yeah, which is surprising because their strength of schedule, it's okay, but it's not like standout-ish,
Yeah.
It's like here's like a 535. That's way better. Yeah.
I'm just checking a look. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, obviously they're getting it done in conference.
The other thing, the thing I want to point out with Rice is they just signed a couple of 4-star recruits. So I mean, that's really big for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one way to continue those blowouts. You start signing some good classes.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to talk about Massachusetts Maritime because they're looking pretty good right now too. So maybe they're putting some things together with that roster that got built from scratch basically by last place 1-4-1-4.
Yeah, I don't know if that name's gonna hold up anymore.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not right now. And I know I've talked with this president about their team a lot. So it's good to see them having some success for sure. All
Yeah.
right.
Do you want to move on to 12, or are we gonna skip 12?
We are moving. We're going to skip 12 and
Okay.
13. In fact,
Gotcha.
we're going to go all the way to 14 and talk about Roanoke here. 5-game winning streak, 9-1. I mean, King.
Yeah.
King can't be overlooked completely. 4-game winning streak, but Roanoke, I think, is the one. I think they have the best RPI in not the conference. I guess Randolph-Macon, but Randolph-Macon lost today. I mean, they're kind of hot. But Roanoke with the strength of schedule and the RPI combination, I think might have the best resume right now.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be close as well, but Roanoke does look pretty nice. Obviously, anytime you have a 5-game winning streak, it's great, but the RPI, I think, sticks out, like you said. I know Randolph-Macon's a little higher, but that game here in a couple weeks between King and Roanoke is going to be huge for this conference.
Ooh, yeah, nice. And then we will wrap up with V15. In Wilkes, I mean, Wilkes is on a 10-game winning streak, and can't. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, you can't hate on it, right? That's anytime you can do that, it's impressive, and
Yeah,
it looks like they're playing well.
99.9 points scored in the conference so far per game.
Although Eastern New Mexico's defense is looking all right.
Yeah, wow, 60. Yeah, that's when they play each other. I mean, have they played each other? And they might have. I guess
It's a good question.
it's possible.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. They play today tomorrow.
There's so many of these
next day.
matchups in these conferences where it's like, man, the next day or two. So this next week that you do the recap, it's going to be really intense.
Yeah. So that's interesting how that lines up. I mean, Wilkes has a really bad strength of schedule. Eastern New Mexico, I'd say, has the best. Well, I don't know. I mean, 4 games overall is pretty big in terms of like that, the gap of their resumes. But Eastern New Mexico is hot too. 7-game win streak, 9-1 in their past 10. A better RPI than Wilkes, so that'll be quite a battle tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that one plays out.
Yeah. All right. Let's shoot through LL3 or LL6. I mean, although there's more conferences. So I won't go through every conference. I'll just highlight the teams. Oh, I hope the site didn't crash on me just now like it was before.
Well, that make this wrap up pretty quick then.
Yeah. I mean, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, still undefeated. The one of only 2 undefeated teams in the entire Hardwood universe. So you got to give them props.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's nice when the undefeated team, the top team by record, has the top RPI. It just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it's definitely aesthetically pleasing to look at that. Be like, ooh, 18-0 looks good.
And watch when the tournament projections come out, they're going to be like a 2 seed.
Yeah, if lucky. Yeah, that's always fun when the first tournament projections come out and everybody gets a little riled up.
Yeah, I mean their RPI is like far and away better than second place.
Yeah, no joke. Wow.
Yeah, that is a huge gap.
Yeah, they might be one of those teams when we get ready to fill out those brackets later this year that you put some serious thought into, because they seem to know what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Sorry, just messing with some things first. All right, so I mean, yeah, it's like Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, they are like far and away the best, but like number 3 in RPI is Cal State San Marcos, and they're in the same conference. So I mean, I don't know how comfortable Corpus Christi can really be.
I mean, I wouldn't say that comfortable at all whenever you got 2 8-0 teams in conference right now. I know Corpus Christi has that 18 win streak right now, but I mean, all it takes is a couple games against each other to change that. So
yeah, and I mean, you can see San Marcos has a much better point differential in conference, at least.
They're killing teams.
Yeah, they're killing teams, and like obviously they're really hot too. 8-game winning streak. Yeah. Does that mean they lost 2 in a row?
When do they play each other?
Yeah, they haven't faced each other, but
nope.
Cal State San Marcos.
Yeah.
They lost 2 in a row out of conference.
Yeah, they lost just a bunch in a row out of conference.
Oh.
To be fair, against some good teams, but yeah, it looks like they don't play each other here until Friday, so that'll be kind of a fun one to kick off.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I never remember all of these games, where like these teams are going to face each other. Let's see, Stetson, they're playing really well, definitely, and their president reached out to me and was like, oh man, your analysis was spot on with my team, and so that feels good, for sure. They're 8-0, blowing teams out by a lot, yeah, playing really well.
Yeah, no joke. And the other 8-0 team being a bot team, that'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because you'd think Stetson has the advantage there, but sometimes those bot teams just get kind of wild.
Yeah, for sure. But like the RPIs and the strength of schedule gaps are like pretty significant.
They're pretty significant, yeah.
The point differential pretty significant. So I don't know. You feel good if you're Stetson. Obviously, it's a big matchup when you play Colorado Mesa. But you feel good about the advantage you have right now.
Absolutely. Sure. They should feel good about likely promoting this season. So hopefully no jinx, knock on wood for them. But
yeah. Let's see. I have Southern New Hampshire on my list here. So they're in VI3. In like right now, Monmouth and Maryland, BC are pretty hot, but their RPIs, again, so much worse.
Yeah.
I guess their strength of schedules are better than Southern New Hampshire's though. And Monmouth has the point differential. So I mean, I guess like Southern New Hampshire can't feel as good as Stetson probably does, but it's Southern New Hampshire's playing well too.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty comforting right now. I know Southern New Hampshire beat Monmouth on the road earlier this season, so that's another huge win for them. Getting that matchup at home this next time.
Nice, yeah. I like how I got all these conferences up here, and now I haven't used them. I just want to get rid of some tabs first because I'm all right. Let's see. Oh, in my old conference, let's see, where are they? Academy of Art here in VI5. They're kind of I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't know if hot. I mean, one game, they have a good RPI. I know they have a new president though, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about them a little bit. Yeah, so he's maybe trying to figure the game out, doing an okay job so far, being competitive. Definitely.
I was gonna say I'm surprised. I know Academy of Art was on a couple guys I looked at last year as a bot, and so I'm happy to see that they've got a president now who hopefully sticks around.
Yeah, led by Jesse Green here, super fast, good handler. Wow, great defender. Holy crap.
You can shoot. No joke.
That's that guy,
that guy would play a lot of play a lot of minutes for some Division I teams. So
yeah. I think he's better than my shooting guard. Right?
He's definitely better than my shooting guard. That's crazy. 11 pot 2-star he had some great development. Came in as a 97.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Wow. Nice. All right. So yeah, I mean, they have a good shot to promote, I'd say, for sure. What else? I mean, we had some other conferences with some, hot teams. VI4 here, Denver and Sioux Falls, both 8-0, both pretty strong RPIs. 11 game win streak, 9 game win streak here. That's wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, playing well. But we don't need to dig into them. They don't have Denver's good RPI wise. I don't think Sioux Falls was all that high. I mean, it's a solid RPI, but it's not, 72nd. Okay. It's a good, that's still not making the tournament technically.
Right. Yeah. They might need a little help there as it goes on.
Yeah. All right. We're going to skip all because we talked about Stetson. We talked about Corpus Christi and San Marcos. We're going to skip all the way to Longwood. And yeah, maybe more than, they're 118th. I don't know why we talk about Longwood. I know they're hot though. 4-game winning streak, 8-2. I know they have not a new president, but Armored Giraffe has been playing for a while, but he was actually at Framingham State before he switched to Longwood for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why.
I really don't know. Maybe
yeah
to switch it up. I guess I don't know.
I guess. Yeah. But so it's always interesting to see like a experienced president go to some project team and then take it over and see what they do.
Yeah, it's really. I always feel like that's a little interesting. I'd imagine after a while I can get stale with certain teams. So
I'm already starting to feel it with some of my teams.
Yeah, I can understand.
Let's see. I actually wanted to talk more about Carthage here, who I have highlighted. They're playing well, 15th ranked RPI, 8-2 in their last 10, 2-game winning streak only, but leading their conference here.
Significant RPI difference too between those other top teams in conference.
Yeah. Oh wow, by like 100 point one. Wow.
And I know Houghton's got a decent one, but I mean they're all the way down there in 7th. So that's something that sticks out.
The problem is though when you're in a conference like this, even when you're winning by a lot, 28 points a game, it's hard for the computer to take those as quality wins.
Right, because they see how bad the rest of the conference is. They see that and I completely get it. So they need to win their conference and they need to do well in the conference tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for them to build their resume for the tournament. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Macalester at 8th, I think is kind of a similar story as Carthage. Not really. I mean, there's 2 good teams who are pretty hot, but they're bots. That's why I didn't have them. That's why. But I mean, the rest of the conference is really bad.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
Wright State.
that's pretty top heavy.
Yeah, it's very top heavy. But I guess there's a couple quality ones in there. So,
That Alma point differential though, whew,
whoa, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's something.
That's good. That's good for, for a bot.
Oh yeah.
Um, let's see, Michigan State here at 13.
So weird seeing
Um,
Michigan State in LL6. I know that's commented every time, but it is very weird.
yeah, I know. We always say it, but like, hey, maybe it looks like they're gonna start moving up now, right?
That's what it seems like. I mean, they're playing really well. They're doing that thing we were talking about earlier, where they're just beating teams in conference by a ton.
Mhm.
Winning the games you're supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, 8 game winning streak, obviously. A good RPI though, and these are two solid teams to have.
Hmm. Above
In
500
conference.
RPI, which is decent for some of these bot teams. So
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Michigan State has maybe they're starting to move up. I don't know. It'll be nice to see them, back where they should be, right?
absolutely, I like seeing the real life teams. There's so many of these teams that are great that in real life I'd never heard of. But I like seeing some of those blue bloods a little higher up.
Yeah, it kind of there's something about it like it just makes sense and on all, so it's I like Dominican being up at the top,
Yeah.
type of thing, but it's kind of like, wait, what? What?
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
also
weird.
nice. It's good to see UCLA and Legends because I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like my brain understands that from the start of this game.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, I know VI-24 is kind of competitive with Purdue and Amherst.
Hmm.
So that's kind of a battle, but Purdue here at 15, both teams are at 15-3. Obviously, Purdue has that edge in RPI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3-8 no teams. Wow. Yeah, and Barton is on a 10-0 win streak or a 13 win streak. Wow.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. I forget. I didn't include any of these bot teams because they're bots. But then it's like, you see 13 games. Well,
Yeah, with the best RPI. I mean, they're actually best strength schedule. They're playing pretty well.
yeah. Down with the bot guys. Come on, Purdue and
Absolutely.
Amherst.
Come on, beat them.
All right. Almost through this list. One team I wanted to call out who actually is like, I think they're kind of hot. I didn't click the right one. I think they're kind of hot. I don't know why I would have added them here, but wait, what? Why
Who are
did
we
I
looking at?
Eureka? Is it the wrong? Wait, what?
It looks like they're 78th
Oh,
RPI.
okay. I'm still in the top 50. That's
Eureka
why.
Red Devils. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always wonky when it is that.
So they're 17-1, right? And like 8 game winning streak, 9-1 in
Oh
the
yeah.
past 10. Like that's good. Like not the best RPI and certainly not the best strength schedule. But this president hasn't logged in almost a month.
Mm.
And I have a thread here where they were talking some trash to some people, and I want to give some shout out to Florida Tech. They look like they're going to move up and promote to D1 after a few, seasons in D2. You know, this manager, this president, he said your team can suck for 2 real life years because you have an excuse. You're doing it the hard way. This guy, he jumped from one team to the other in hopes that Eureka would be, they looked good when he took over, and then obviously they're in LL6 now, and he's ditched the game. So you know what? Shame on this guy. Shame on this person.
That's a bad look. Yeah.
Yeah. They were at Memphis and they were like, oh, Memphis sucks. I'm gonna move. And then now they're at a team that still sucks because of them.
There you go. And now you're gonna quit the game.
Now they're quitting. So yeah, you know what? We don't like that.
Here's a good reminder for everybody on the forums. Don't be a dick. It's that easy,
Yeah.
Good life lesson too.
Yeah, exactly.
We all just are here to have fun and play with imaginary basketball players. So let's just be nice to each other.
Exactly. Win some virtual trophies.
Absolutely. Like make little cool videos when Dominican wins the national title.
Write some PRs, have some funny Hall of Fame inductions.
Oh, the PRs. The PRs might be the best part about this game.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a couple PRs every week where you're like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, that one saying, "Oh, we need some 5-star players. You won't regret it." I laughed at that one.
I also like the one where people, and I get that it might be a translate thing or something like that, but I always love the one where they're asking about where to buy more players. And I'm like, you definitely understand college basketball because that's very spot on.
Hey, yeah, I mean, Dominican's been dropping bags for a few seasons for sure.
You better bring out the Brinks truck for Hoff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We already have. We already have. Wait, no, I'm sorry. No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, just report Cal State LA, and then he'll have to come to you from by default. So
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Um, and then there's one other conference that has like it's pretty competitive. There's four teams who are hot. It's this VI 31, not Curry really. But wait, what? This is not the right one. Sorry.
give me 32 or 30.
30. Yeah,
30.
I
Okay.
read my notes wrong. Uh, you got Green Mountain, Seton Hall. We're gonna
Love
skip
to
this
see it.
bot team.
Seton Hall,
Uh,
love to see it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of your old teams. Texas San Antonio and Christian Brothers. Actually, I think Christian Brothers has the best TPI of this entire conference. Um, so this is crazy competitive right now.
I've got to say, I looked at the Christian Brothers team because I wanted to know where they were located.
Mhm.
Because it's an interesting college name, but their mascot's the Buccaneers. I don't know if that fits. Strange mascot for Christian Brothers, the university. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm not sure that fits.
But no,
Yeah,
this looks like it's shaping up. Seton Hall, I know. I mean, I've have some previous experience with them. Um, they've got some quality players on that team. I think Tim or Ted Smith. I can never remember his name. Um, Nick Galis can
yeah,
thank me for him because I put in the hard work there.
yeah,
But
yeah. You did.
Ted Smith is going to be a very good LL6 player right now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he won Freshman of the Year. He won All Conference Shooting Guard as a freshman. I mean, that's going to set them up nice, I think, for the future if they can get some recruiting figured out.
I mean, that said, the president is starting to form this team in their own image, and
Hmm.
that's always good to see too, of course, right?
Absolutely. And then Green Mountain, I think, looking at their roster, they've got for an LS6 team, they've got a 171 shooting guard, which is just ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, they've got some really good talent. So that'll be hard for Seton Hall to overcome, but that's going to be a fun race.
Stan Herbert, oh
I
boy.
know, right? Where did he come from? 5-star, well, 5-star.
Yeah, 5-star from Massachusetts, I see.
Ah, okay. So he would have been the class before I think I started playing. Yeah, that guy's a monster.
Yeah, looks like it. Um, it's interesting. I don't know. Green Mountain was like LL6 like for a long time.
This might have been one of those things where you have so many numbers open or no guys ahead of him that you're able to land them. 5 stars. 5 stars in this game are interesting, I think, with that.
Well, it also used to be easier for LL6 teams and LL5 teams to like recruit 4 and 5 stars than it is now. Um,
That's right. They
yeah,
made that change a few seasons ago. I think I read a post about that, right? Where they made it a little tougher.
yeah. So I think that's a big part of it too. Yeah.
Unless you're Hawaii and Elmer Kane is just born on the islands. And you're like, there we go.
Yeah, that's kind of a unique situation, I feel like, because I mean, you kind of have a monopoly almost on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But all right, that about wraps it up for today. Anything else from you? Let's look at
No,
the forums, what's
thanks for
been going
having me
on.
on. I know that, I might be coming on a couple more times over the next few weeks, but hopefully, we can get this better, and hopefully I don't have to talk so much and make it a 2-hour show.
It's all good. It happens. We always run long. I mean, yeah, but thanks for joining. And
Absolutely.
yeah, looking forward to having you on more. Yeah, we'll be able to cut it down hopefully. I mean, all the listeners know we actually don't. But,
Yeah, yeah, they know that we're just saying that. Yeah, that's fair.
all right, y'all. Till next time, we'll come at you with another episode. Not sure when. I'm pretty busy this week, unfortunately, so it might be another just weekend one. But we'll get back to the tips and tricks episodes soon. I know that's really helpful for beginners, in just a place for me to just spew out all my ideas. So
It's a
yeah,
good think tank.
we'll get back to those.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good think tank.
yeah. All right. Till next time though, talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later, Andrew. Thank you.
Peace. And